was the dawn of a new decade. 1920. The war was over, the stock market was booming, the gin was flowing, quietly of course, and the jazz was loud. But something else was shaking up America. Women. Not just in petticoats and pearls, not just mothers or maids or silent shadows of men. No, these were the women who had had it up to here. The suffragettes, the vamps, the flappers, the future. Let's back up a bit. For decades, even centuries, women in the United States were second-class citizens. Couldn't vote, often couldn't own property, couldn't even keep their own wages in some states, and they were supposed to be grateful. But women's suffrage movement, led by fierce souls like Susan B. Anthony, Ida B. Wells, Alice Paul, and Sojourner Truth, said no more. They protested, picketed, starved themselves, got arrested, risked their lives for a simple idea, that women are citizens too. Finally, on August 18, 1920, after a neck-and-neck vote in Tennessee, the 19th Amendment was ratified. It stated, the right of citizens to vote shall not be denied on account of sex. Only a few words, but they shook the nation. Now, let's not sugarcoat it. This amendment didn't grant all women equal access to the ballot. Many Black, Native American, Asian, and Latino women still faced racist voter suppression, poll taxes, literacy tests, citizenship barriers. But still, the amendment was a critical turning point, a crack in the wall that had held women back for centuries. The 1920s weren't just about ballots, they were about boldness. And if one woman captured the new attitude, it was the flapper. She was the real McCoy, a slick chick with a bob, a flask in her garter, and a look that said, your rules don't apply to me. She drank in speakeasies, drove motor cars, worked office jobs, smoked Lucky Strikes, and kicked up her heels to the Charleston. She was called fast, wild, even dangerous, and she couldn't have cared less. The flapper wasn't just about fashion though, let's be honest. Those dresses were the cat's pajamas. She represented a new kind of woman, independent, outspoken, and unshamed. And she rattled people. Oh, did she rattle them. Newspapers called her a menace. Ministers warned she'd ruin the family. Politicians blamed her for everything from divorce rates to moral decay. But the flappers didn't back down. They were, for many, the first taste of what a woman could be when she lived on her own terms. And while not every woman became a flapper, many stayed home, wore long dresses, and kept traditional roles. The impact was clear. For the first time, society was debating what womanhood even meant. That was power. The vote gave women a foot in the door, but the flapper, she was the one who kicked it wide open. With suffrage came more political engagement. Women began running for office. They pushed for laws on education, labor rights, birth control, and child welfare. Slowly, brick by brick, the system began to shift. But change is never neat. The 1920s were filled with contradiction. Progress, but also pushback. Liberty, but only for some. Power, but not yet equality. The fight for full rights for all women wasn't over in 1920, and it still isn't over today. But that decade lit a spark. It gave women a taste of freedom, and the fire never went out. So, what does this all mean to you? It means when you vote, you honor their struggle. When you speak your truth, you channel their courage. When you challenge the rules, you follow their lead. Because the women of the 1920s didn't just make noise, they made history. The 19th Amendment was more than a law. The flapper was more than a trend. Together, they cracked open the world and dared women to dance through the door. And now, it's your turn.